So apologies for those of you that were watching just a while ago before I locked off. I think I came on around 7:40 and then I locked off the last one because there was an issue with my YouTube. It was connected to my other YouTube. But I'm back. And so basically, excuse my nails, they're all coming off. And I'm trying to take them off, but it just looks hideous right now. I shouldn't even be doing this while my nails are looking like this because I really need to sort them out. So yeah, so just excuse my nails if you see them. My acrylics, some of them are falling off and they're breaking my actual real nails, which are like so long, they're much longer than the acrylics. I actually regret getting the acrylics done. I hope all of you have been having a good day and wherever you are, because I don't know what countries you're watching from. Over here in the UK, we have been having like storms, Storm Alex. So yeah, so today we're going to talk about basically, okay, so the last live that I started a few, I think it was like 3 weeks ago, I was in hospital, and it was basically, I was going to talk about the whole Chadwick Boseman situation, him passing away, and all the synchronicities with the movies that he's done in his past, in basically in the past, and with the fact that Beyonce's been releasing this whole African cultured album, video album that she likes to do nowadays, and she's put a lot of African spirituality into it. And she's got a song called "Already" on the I think it's on the album, the visual album. That's it. And on the song "Already," she's dressed up and she's basically calling all the African kings to, I don't know, like to come together spiritually and to like sacrifice themselves and prepare for the Antichrist. You know, she's like, rise already, it's time already. You know, so if you listen to the like lyrics, let me try and get the lyrics, because if I try and go off memory, like it's gonna be a hot mess. Okay, so let me just check I'm still connected to my lovely fans. Hey, how y'all doing? Okay, so Beyonce already. These are the lyrics. Long live the king, you a king, you know it. King already, already you know it. Top everything, everything, you know it. King already, already you know it. Mind, body, soul, got a king body. Body gone shine, bling, bling, bling body. Calling all shots, ring, ring body. Crown on your head, got a king body. I'm gonna stop at crown because obviously like crown, that whole crown part is really really important. The reason why I'd say that is because we're still dealing with the whole corona situation, and obviously the word corona is like Spanish for, or Latin for, crown. And when you look at the Bible in Revelation, it talks about obviously like when you stay steadfast and you have your patience and you persevere, in the end of days you're going to receive a crown. And obviously when you're looking at the beast as well in Revelation, the beast that takes over and that's working with the Antichrist has 10, I think it's 7, is it 10 heads, or 7 heads, I can't remember. He's got 10 heads, they're 10 kings, and they have 10 crowns as well. So all this stuff about crowns coming around at this time, you know. So she's all singing like she's got your, right with your mind, your body, your soul, rise already, it's time already, you know you're a king. And I know Beyonce, like she's all trying to say that within her lyrics or whatever, that all of this African spirituality, African culturalness is coming out of the fact that she's, you know, discovered that she's like, her ancestors come from Nigeria and she could be Yoruba or some shit like that. And then also her partner Jay-Z, she says that his ancestors come from Rwanda. And if you ask me personally, I don't believe both of them. I don't even think they know where their ancestors come from, to be honest with you. Obviously, their ancestors are African, but I don't think they know anyway. But they're just using this as like a ploy. Like I did tell my sister like ages ago, I was saying to her like, oh, you know how like in the First and Second World War, the Allies and the whatever the other people were. I can't remember the names. My history is a bit like messed up right now, but I do remember that they all, once they won the war, they came together and they divided Africa for themselves, and they started like parting the land and saying who's gonna have this part, that part, and that's why in Africa you have all like English speaking parts, Spanish speaking parts, Portuguese speaking parts, and all of this kind of stuff because of all the division and colonialism that went on. But then now it's like the same thing is happening, but with this like American, like like the American Hollywood type of music industry. You'll notice that Drake all of a sudden, it's in the last couple of years, like the last like 5 years, he's shown a lot of interest in UK music. All of a sudden, he's a big fan of UK drill, UK rap, UK everything. He wants to even try and sound like Headie One in some of these tracks. He wants to try and be doing grime or drill tracks, trying to talk like he's from England or whatever. But all of this is not because they care about the people, they're trying to connect with the people. All of this is because they've actually had their little meetings, their little brotherhoods, sisterhoods, sun worship, Lucifer worship, whatever it is that they do. And they've sat down and they've divided up parts of the world. Like, oh, this person is going to be influential in this part of the world. And obviously, we end up in England, we end up with Mother Evan Drake, Aubrey Graham, showing a lot of interest to us and saying how, and obviously Meghan got married to Harry so that they can try and promote this whole black and white need to be together ism in United Kingdom. Because if you check out England, like the population of black people in England is very, very small. A lot of people don't realize this because they live in like densely populated areas and they like cram you all in the cities or just like the outskirts of the cities. So you obviously like when you go out, you think and you like assume that yes, oh, there's lots of black people in the UK, but that's not true. Black people in the UK make up less than 3%, not even 3%, make up like 1.5%. Well, basically, it's a nothing number. If you think about it, it's a nothing number because even when they talk about the 3%ers, they're talking about the black and minority ethnic groups. Like they put us all together, like they squash us in with everyone that they deem to not be white enough. So they could be throwing in Turkish people in that group, Kosovans, God knows what, like Asians, Arabs, and they'll be like, yeah, those are the black and minority ethnics. And then when they round it up and they do a little consensus, then it comes up to like 3%. But really and truly, if you actually put all the black people, the real black people, to one side, because there are a lot of people that have got dark complexions, but they're not actually black. If you check it, because if you check their parents now, their parents might be like Asian, or they might be like white or something like that, or they're different cultures, or they to mix up, whatever they are, but they're not actually black people. So yeah, you don't have a lot of black people in the UK, basically. So for these people to be trying to act like, oh yeah, there's so much like black people in the UK, oh they love the culture, all of this stuff, it's just bullshit. Like Beyonce trying to act like she loves the culture of Africa, that's bullshit. When she first came out, she was blonde hair, and she was trying to fit in with the white people. I remember white girls used to always think Beyonce was mixed race or white, and she never ever tried to like speak against those rumors. She just like kind of led them on and let people assume what they wanted to assume. And she was always trying to like Michelle in the group. Actually, she's the mixed race one, but they always used to make Michelle's makeup darker than Beyonce's to make Beyonce look more light skinned than Michelle. When actually Beyonce is black and Michelle is mixed race. But they will try and have you thinking, oh, that Michelle is quarter caste or that Michelle is the black one and Beyonce is the mixed race one. But that's not how it is. So now Queen Bee, all of a sudden, we come to 2020 and don't kill me, but I'm going to say this, but all of a sudden she reckons like she's got this newfound love for Africa, which is a goddamn lie because none of them love Africa. Because if they loved Africa, then they would be doing everything they could do because they're celebrities. Even if like the Illuminati won't allow you to use like your finances, because I hear that basically they have like a black card and they don't actually ever have money. so they can't actually spend money. And if they were to like try and leave and like spend like a lot of money or give it to charity or something like that, then they would like terminate them or whatever, like kill them or whatever. But they're not allowed to do stuff like that. That's why like they can only give to charities that they tell them that they can give to, because those charities are basically like laundering money for like the governments and stuff like that. You know, that's what a lot of charities are used for. Like if you check Trump's tax returns, he said that he paid like £72,000 or something like that in taxes, and the majority of it was for his hair. You know, for that disgusting hair of his, and like we can't even tell that he spent over 50 grand on that hair. But anyways, so yeah, so as I was saying, so Beyonce in this song already, she's calling onto all the black guys, all the black gods, shall I say, because obviously the Illuminati, like they all deem themselves as God. They all say they're gods. If you check Lil Wayne, he says I'm a god. Kanye West says he's a god. Kanye West is trying to walk on water nowadays and having his Sunday services, and he thinks he's goddamn Jesus up in here. So they all think they're gods. When they have their little I Am albums, that's them saying I'm a god, because obviously in the scriptures, when you translate Yah, it means I am what I am. So that's why they have their I am Chipmunk, I am Beyonce, I am Sasha Fierce and all this bullshit. I am, they always have it. Or even if in their Instagram links, their Twitter handles, all of that kind of stuff, they'll have like little I am. They always try to refer themselves as gods. They see themselves as gods and us as like the useless eaters and consumers in this world. So basically, Beyonce is calling on to all of the black gods so they can come and give their life source and their life energy towards summoning the Antichrist. So when she's talking about, so let's go back into the lyrics so you can get this one properly. So she says, long live the king. You a king, you know it. So when she's saying long live the king, we know she ain't talking about Christ, because, you know, those of you who are into like conspiracy theories and all that kind of stuff, even though I don't think conspiracy theories are conspiracy theories, they're just like, they're truth. We're truthers. I like to call myself a truther, not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a truther because I think people that don't look up like all these conspiracies and stuff like that, like I feel like they're the ones that are lacking in brain cells or whatnot, because there's so much stuff that just goes on in this system and in this world that is just dodgy, and you just think to yourself like, why is this happening? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, make it make sense. None of it makes sense at all. But yeah, so Beyonce, she sees herself as this mother goddess. She's portrayed herself as like the Virgin Mary in her visual African cultured Lion King album, and she is calling on all of her black gods to come together and to sacrifice themselves and bring their life force so that they can summon the Antichrist, who is her king, basically. When she says, long live the king, she's talking about the Antichrist. She says, you a king, you know it. So she's basically just saying to the Antichrist, yeah, you're a king. Like, she's giving her legion to the Antichrist. King already, you know it. Top everything, you know it. King already, you know it. Mind, body, soul. Got a king body. So when she says mind, body, soul, so obviously like in the scriptures it tells you that you, like, one of the commandments is you have to worship the Most High with your mind, body, and your soul. So she's saying here that she needs you to worship the Antichrist, or she needs the gods, the lesser gods, which is like them basically. She needs them to come together and basically, I think she's asking them like to put their mind, body, and soul into summoning the Antichrist. Because then she says, got a king body. So when she says got a king body, like when she's saying she's got a king body, like that makes me just think about like all of the black sacrifices that have happened thus far. You know, we've lost the Black Panther, and so the Black Panther was the king of Wakanda. So there, she's got a king body. And then you had Kobe. Kobe died as well, and he was another king body that she got, that gave himself up for sacrifice. And then if you look at like even in the like UK with us, because obviously our artists and musicians and famous people, celebrities, whatever they are, they're all in on it as well. Don't be thinking that, oh, because they're in England and they look uglier, but they're not into it. It doesn't matter just because they look, they're like the ugly, like Tesco Value version of all the American ones, and they look ridiculous, but they're still into it. So for us in the UK, so in America, they lost a Black Panther, and for us, we lost Black the Ripper. So those of you who are from the UK will know that Black the Ripper is like a grime rap artist, and I used to listen to him a lot when I was younger as well, because he's like a conscious like rapper sort of thing, and all the stuff that he used to talk about is really really like good, and yeah, I enjoyed his music. And then so like for a while he kind of like stayed away from the scene and wasn't really doing anything, but everyone was just thinking like, okay, like everyone's getting on with their lives, people getting older, so of course like he might not be like trying to be like attention seeking like how Wiley is. But yeah, so anyways, then all of a sudden Black the Ripper comes up dead, just like in this time, in this time span where we have lost Kobe, and then we have lost the Black Panther, and we lost Black the Ripper as well. So now I'm seeing like Kobe was like a black king in the world of like NBA, in the NBA world, in like the world of basketball. He's a legend, so he's a big icon. So when Beyonce says I've got a king body, so she's asking for all of these king bodies, all of these black entertainers, especially black men, because they call themselves kings or whatever. You know, like obviously in this whole cultured Africanized movement, we call ourselves kings and queens. So when she's saying she's got a king body, she's actually saying she's got a black man's body. And so that would be like the sacrifices of the people that she's called on to make their sacrifice so that they can use their life force to summon the Antichrist. So that's what they're all doing. They're summoning the Antichrist. And Beyonce is she feels like she's like the mother of Jesus basically, but only she feels like she's the mother of the Antichrist. You know, if you look at it like upside down, how they see things. So after Mind Body Soul got a king body, she goes body gone shine, bling bling body. Body gone shine, bling bling body, like that can go back to like Lucifer having like a body of diamonds. And obviously like all these artists, especially hip hop artists, they love like bling blings and diamond. That's where it comes from. That whole culture of having like lots of diamonds and all these things comes from the fact that Lucifer, his body was made out of jewels. Like he was made out of like every expensive jewel, like diamonds, rubies, gold, whatever, that was on his body. So that's why when they come down, these lesser gods, shall we say, depending on how far and how deep you are in the truther movement. I'm just going to say lesser gods, shall I say, because they think they are gods. So let's just refer to them as lesser gods. So yeah, so all these lesser gods, that's why they love all these diamonds. Every time they get money, every time they get a record deal, it's always, oh yeah, check out my diamond this, check out my Rolls Royce, check out my bling bling. You know, that's all they ever talk about. Like it's just hiring. Calling all the shots, ring body, crown on your head, got a king body. So obviously the crown is the coronavirus that we're going through right now. This whole corona thing, yeah, I'm just gonna roll my eyes at that, because if you think that thing, this is real, like what they're telling you guys, but I've been to the hospitals, and all I can say is it's a lie. The whole thing is a lie. There is like nobody has the like there's just, yeah, don't buy into it. They're just using this as they can have an excuse to bring us all into this whole new world order that they have, like the beast system, because they now like back in the days we were living in like the time of, like I think it was like Lucifer's reign. I think it was like just the time before of that, like, but now we've entered the time of the Antichrist. So now things are going to change, because now we're not going to have any more cash. Everything's going to be cashless. That's why when you go out now, you cannot buy stuff with cash anymore. They don't want to accept cash, and they're using this whole CV thing as the excuse for them to not. Oh no, because if you have sneezed in your money and the germs is going to give me coronavirus. Yeah, whatever. whatever. You could wear, if they wanted to, everybody could be wearing gloves, like if it's such a big deal. But they don't want that. They just want to get rid of cash now. They're tired of that, and they want to get us into the new system. They want us all chipped, and so they're gonna, like, obviously Trump had the has the CV as well. And why am I not surprised that Trump and Melania both announced that they had it, and Trump's one was so serious that he had to go to hospital. He's hospitalized, and his doctor said that he couldn't breathe properly, and he's having like struggling breathing and whatnot. And basically, the same situation with that Boris, but both of them have bad hair, and both of them are just, yeah, annoying as F, and nobody really likes them. It's the year of the annoying presidents, I think, or prime ministers or whatever. Since 2016, like they all look kind of like the same. Like, when like Trump was elected, and it's funny that Trump was elected in 2016, because if you like do tarot cards, there's like the 16th Trump, and that's like one of the tarot cards. And basically, like the Trump card is basically when you cause like discord and division, and you just bring like sudden change and differences. So obviously, like we all had this like era of where we had like Obama, and people had so much hope. Yes, Obama brought hope. He was the sun rising in the west or whatever. Basically, that's the symbol of the Antichrist. So I don't know. Some people still believe, and I feel like they're neck or neck, because Trump, his family name, like he's got Christ in his family name, and his mom's name is Elizabeth, and Jesus' auntie's name was Elizabeth, and his dad, he where like the name Christ, his dad is Fred Christ Trump, so they've got Christ in their name, and on top of that as well, Trump like says he's a Christian, and even though he holds up his Bibles upside down, just letting you know what kind of God he worships. So yeah, so he says he's a Christian. He says that he believes in God, and he wants to bring back the ways of God in this world. And all these ditzy Christians outside were celebrating when he got nominated, like when basically they said that, oh, Trump was going to take over and he was going to be the president in 2016. All these ditzy Christians were all happy, and they were all like, yes, he's the Cyrus prophecy, it's gonna change things. Yeah, Trump isn't changing anything. The only thing that he's going to change is he's taking us from the whole the era of like the Luciferian that we had before. So we were living in the Luciferian era. Like, you'll notice that we had the TV show Lucifer to show us that, and then also like from the 90s. Remember, like when those of you who are like my age, and let me give my age away in case you guys think I don't, like, some people think I'm young, but I'm actually not young. I'm an old woman. So I'm 31, and I just turned 31 actually a few days ago. So yeah, so those of you who remember like 2000, the millennium, remember like Will Smith's song, "Here we come, another one, new millennium, new millennium." Those of you remember that song? Remember like when we had the new millennium, and like they threw down the balloons, and they put up the bonfires and the fireworks and everything. It was all lovely, jubbly, and we was all like looking forward to the millennium in the year 2000s and whatnot. And we didn't even know what the government had in store for us. But yeah, so when we entered the new millennium, so 1999, we had, before the millennium, so we had these movies like The End of Days, and then we had The Devil's Advocate. So all these films that were coming on TV were all like movies that were showcasing that the Antichrist, or Satan, was going to be released from his prison. Obviously, in the Bible, it talks about Satan being in jail for like a certain amount of time, and after the 1,000 years is done, that he gets released and he's able to come out and test the world and do whatever. And this is when, like, obviously the Antichrist starts reigning, because Satan is the one that's giving the power for the Antichrist. He's the beast, he's the dragon, basically, because yeah, he's the snake from the garden, and obviously in the garden he was a snake, and that was like in the very beginning he was a snake. So but when you look at the end of the Bible, he's now a dragon, because it says that old serpent, so the Bible is referring to his old way, like what he looked like before, like way back when this whole shit started, when this shit all started. In the beginning he was a snake, but now he's a fat ass dragon, because it's been so many years that we've been alive, like, and obviously like generations and generations, like your nanas, your papas, your white nats, the reason why you're here, like they were all alive. And in the meantime, like while they're all living and dying, Satan is just getting fat, 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 and he's now become a big fat dragon. And now the dragon has been loosed, and now he has like found his body, because Satan needs a body. He needs a body so that he can rule and be king on earth, because he's been running things, but he didn't really have a body. Because obviously, when you look at the scriptures, it says that every now and then, like God summons all of the lesser gods. So that means that all the angels and all the fallen angels and white knights and all the demonic little spirits and white knights, he calls them, and obviously they come like to heaven's gates, because they can't enter into heaven because they're foul spirits. So they come to heaven's gates, and he asks them, like, what have you been doing like so far? And Satan, when he was asked, he said that he was just running to and fro the earth. So we know that Satan walks up and down the earth, and he does his business, and he does whatever he has to do, and he gets on with it. And he's been running shit for a long time now. He's been out. I think he's been loosed out of his prison since like 2000. That's why we had that big. That's why Will Smith released that song New Millennium, and that's why like that when it became to that 2000, like they put the London Eye up. They put all these like eyes everywhere, because that's the eye of Horus. Because obviously Ra and Horus and all these Egyptian names and whatever, these are all different different deities, but they all represent Satan. They're all different forms of Satan. And so when you have like the London Eye, that's what you have really. It's not really just there for you to jump inside and have a little spin and get sick, and to scare you if you're like me and you're scared of heights. It's not there for that. The whole reason of it being there is because basically it's a massive eye. It's the Eye of Horus looking over the whole of London. And if you look at the Millennium Dome, which was built in time for the millennium, and there was so much controversy, like in the UK, when they were going to build that dome, and they were like, oh, we don't have enough money. Why is the government going to take out money and build a dome? Oh, it's going to be good because we're going to use it for the Olympics, because we've got the Olympic bid, blah, 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 blah. They were just making damage. They knew they was going to build the dome anyway, but they had to like make a little like theatre show, because that's what the government do. They do theatre shows, and they just like lie to people, and they make it seem like, oh yeah, this person's opposed and that person's opposed, but really and truly they're all best friends. Behind closed doors, they're all having orgies and whatnots, and some of them ain't even the right sexes, like they're all transgenders and whatever. Like, I'm not going to get into that side of things yet, because it might be a bit too deep for some of y'all, but they're very messed up. So they do disgusting and filthy things together, and then they come out and they have performed these little plays for us, because that's what they believe in, the bread and circus. They say that as long as they give us like our food and they entertain us, then we'll be like dumb and stupid, and we'll never catch on to what's happening to us. So that's why you have your Netflixes, you have your Amazon Prime videos, you have all this shit going on in the world. You have your Cardi B's and your Meg Thee Stallions and your WAPs everywhere, and whatever it is, whatever. You have all of this rubbish happening because they are just trying to entertain you. Meanwhile, while you're being entertained, they are back behind the closed doors making all of these plans and actions so that they can summon up enough energies and get enough satanic sacrifices so they can give Satan a body, and so he can come out and he can rule, and he can be the new king of the new age, because we are now in the dawn of the Antichrist's reign. We're at the dawn of it, which is the beginning of it. And that's why the system is changing. That's why we had the lockdown and this whole corona shit. It was all been a one ass big ass ritual. If you guys think the corona thing is real, I feel sorry for you. I really, really do. Like, I seriously feel, if you think corona is real, if like, I understand like they're lying to people and saying that, oh yeah, your family members are sick with corona and they've died with corona. Like, your family members were sick with something else and probably died of something else, but they didn't die from the corona, because the corona has a 98% recovery rate. And that's extremely high. 98% of the people that get, they survive. Even the elderly people that are very, very sick and weakly, like, they still come into that percentage as well. So a lot of them, they can have the corona, which is just like a chest infection, and they survive. Pneumonia is actually even worse than the corona. Like, the corona is like having a little cold, whatnot. It ain't gonna kill nobody, okay? They're just using that because they like the name corona as it's Latin for crown, and they're trying to like crown their antichrist in the next couple of years, and they want to bring him out into the stage, and he's going to rule, and people are going to bow down and they're going to accept him, because when he comes, he's going to come and he's going to save us, because things are going to get worse, because having like Trump is the 16th trump card in the tarot thing, so he's bringing all the disruption and the discord and what needs to happen to make people crazy and angry enough for them to like revolt, because that's what they want. If you look at all the movies like that they've been showing us, like all these anarchy movies, all these the purges, purge 1, purge 2, purge election year, blah de blah blah, whatever they're called, and all of these Black Lives Matter protests. You know, obviously Black lives do matter, you know, but they're not talking about Black lives. If you look at the title of Black Lives Matter, really and truly, it's Black Matter Lives. That's what they really are trying to say with that. Black matter is like the black goo. When you watch like horror movies and you see people possessed, and usually like when they throw up the possession, or they're throwing up the demon or whatever was inside of them, like it's something black comes out of them. Like when you watch the Billie Eilish, I think, what's her name, Billie Eilish, whatever her name is. I don't listen to her, so you know she's irrelevant to me, so I don't even know how to pronounce her name. But Billie Eilish, whatever her name is. So basically, like she had a video where she like was drinking this like had a cup of black goo, and she drank it, and it started like coming out of her eyes and her mouth and her nose and everything. So basically she's just letting you know that she's totally possessed and she's accepted a demonic entity inside her body. And then she had that video where obviously like there was an angel, I think it was her that was playing the role of an angel that fell from heaven, and like had all these like black goo and stuff on its wings and stuff. And yeah, I don't know, but her videos are very, very like telling. They're very telling, so I don't understand how her fans cannot see that she's clearly a Satanist and a Luciferian at that. So anyway, so Trump is here, and he's the Trump card. He's bringing all the discord. Like the Trump is basically the jester, and if you look at jesters and Harley Quinn and all that kind of stuff, like it became very popular in the last couple of years as well, from 2016, since Trump got his presidency. We've seen a lot of like clown references and the Joker references. Like it's become really popular, especially Harley Quinn has become popular amongst like young girls and everyone that likes all them DC comics and people that go to those comic cons and stuff like that. Like, okay, I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to comics as well, but Harley Quinn actually, if you look up, if you go on Google and you actually look up jesters and jokers, and eventually you'll find a page on Harley Quinn. And Harley Quinn is just basically a devil, and it's a demon that they used to say that it would chase people's like souls and spirits, and like chase you and drag you to hell and torment you. And so basically, like the word Harley comes from hell. So it like in the beginning it was hell. It was hell, like it was hell, but it was in Latin. So that's why like when you translate it back, and the pronunciation and the enunciation of the word, like it became Harley Quinn. But basically, Harley Quinn is just like a demon. It's like just a devil that chases people and drags them to hell. And there's loads of stories about it, like in the 16th and 19th century. You can research all of that. And jesters as well, like jesters were all like demonically possessed and whatnot. And obviously there were like clowns and jokers like that used to entertain like kings and like the people. They used to be out in the like towns and the markets and stuff like that. But actually the clown itself, like when you look at the movie It, and when you look at like Pennywise, the clown itself represents a devil. Because look at Pennywise in the movie It. He's going around, he's tormenting little children, and he's killing them. And then when he kills them, he gives them like, he has like, every time he's coming to kill someone, he has like a balloon, and it's like a red balloon, and it gets filled, and when the balloon pops, sometimes it's like full of blood. And that's letting you know, like, even the word balloon, like I'll tell you the history of the word balloon. Balloon comes from basically like when you see balloons, especially red balloons. So we had David Blaine. Is his name David Blaine? So after Chadwick died, rest in peace, Chadwick, my Wakanda king. Anyway, so after Chadwick died, your David Blaine had an ascension thing where he had like 99 balloons. Obviously, there was some of them were red, some of them were purple, whatnot, green, and he tried to like style that shit up. He tried to make it look a bit classy and tried to make it look a bit like Mr. Whatever from the children's shows, whatever his name is, Mr. Tumble, whatever. So anyways, so the whole point of the whole ascension is that the word balloon comes from sacrifices, when they used to sacrifice humans. So when they used to sacrifice humans, they used to cut your bowels open, and then they would take your bowels, and then they would even when it's filled with like junk and blood and whatnot, and they would tie it up, and it would sort of like make like a balloon shape, and then they would give that as an offering to their gods. So that's why you get the bow is from the balloons. So so they made like, they took your bowels out, they stretched it, they stuffed it up with your guts and whatever and whatnot, and they put like blood and whatever in it, and then they would give that as a sacrifice to their gods. So that's where you get the word balloon from, okay? And also when you look at it, like, again, like the word balloon, when you break it down again, you've got bow and then you've got loon. So bow is obviously like that demon god as well, that likes sacrifices, and he likes like human sacrifices. So it's a bit like football as well. Like football is like the ball is from bow, so football, and bow loon, and or bows loon. So yeah, so you can look these things up for yourself. But yeah, that's basically the history of balloons. So when you see all these red balloons, especially like when people pass away and people like lift up balloons in their like memory or whatnot, like yeah, some people can do it innocently. I ain't gonna lie. Like some people can do it innocently. They don't know these things. They don't understand. So they just see like celebrities and other people doing it. So they think, yeah, that's the best thing to do. Like when my family passes away, let me lift up balloons and whatnot. But in the occult world, when they lift up balloons, they're basically saying that they're lifting up the sacrifices, the human sacrifices that they have done during the year. So when you see like at the end of the year and they have like New Year's Day and they have all them balloons and they lift them all up, that's all of the sacrifices. The number of balloons that they let down, think about it. They have a certain amount of balloons that they release, okay? And they know the exact number because they only release the number of balloons that is basically the number of sacrifices that they've had during the year. So they will account all of their Kobe's, their Chadwicks, their whatnots, you know, whether they were small, big sacrifices, corporate sacrifices, entertainment sacrifices, world stage sacrifices, hospital sacrifices, because you know hospitals are big places where sacrifices happen, because hospitals are the best place for them to even commit human sacrifices, because you can do anything over there and you're a nurse or a doctor and you can just lie, because especially now, like they're not allowing no families in hospitals. You're basically at the mercy of these people that are clearly faulty in the head, because they believe that they are working or saving people from an illness that has a recovery rate of 98%. And even though I have been in the hospital throughout this whole CV pandemic, I've been there and I've not met one person that has the CV. And I've been in the hospital and I can prove it because I had a PICC line done, and I go to hospital all the time so I can get like, you know, my blood exchanges for my sickle cell and stuff like that. So I get treatment, and I'm in the hospital like almost every other week. I have to go in for some treatment or some blood or some, you know, like liquids or some, you know, basically it's just treatment and medication and whatnot. I have to be in hospital all the time, and I've not met one person that has the corona, okay? And when I've been in hospital, they've just been lying to me the whole time. Like they had me one time, like I was literally isolated in like a ward by myself, because at that time, this was when like the whole outbreak happened, first of all, around March. Because I remember like it was the day after my sister's birthday, because my sister's birthday is on the 23rd of March. And that is like 322, which is the Skull and Bones date. So that's the date they actually started saying that there was like a pandemic in the UK. And yeah, so I remember like I went into hospital like I think it was like a few days after that. And when I went in, they were like hiding me and put me into all these different rooms and saying that, oh yeah, we're putting you here, like, oh, you're isolated in this ward by yourself, because on the other side of the hospital it's like so many like CV patients that are dying and they're sick and they're desperate. They, you know, just lying to me the whole time. And I never once met any patients. I was in wards by myself. There was empty wards, no beds. I remember when they were sending everybody home, and I got admitted, and I was having a crisis, and they were saying to me like, "Oh, wouldn't you prefer to be at home? It's a dangerous time to be in hospital right now." And I was like, "Listen, if I go home with this crisis, I'm gonna be dead anyway. So, yeah." I'm gonna stay in. And when I stayed in, I'm telling you, they sent home everybody, and I was like one of the only people left in the ward. And there were no patients for CV. And since I've been from March onwards up until like October, I just came out of hospital a few days ago, and there still was no patients with CV. But yet they lie to people. Like when you go, they're like, oh, at the other side of the hospital, or what, this wing of the hospital, or on this third floor, or on that floor, or we're moving you from this floor to that floor because the hospitals that I've been in, they don't have any CV patients, okay? And people should have known this. They should have worked this out anyway, because when you were looking at all them TikTok videos of these nurses and doctors dancing and singing and whatever, and they're telling you at the same time that they're having a pandemic and it's life and death, people are struggling, there's not enough ventilators. So therefore, how do you have time to be putting together choreographed dance moves for TikTok when your patients are dying? You should be running around trying to save lives, not on TikTok trying to like dance and whatnot and make a whole. They were dancing because they were laughing at us, okay? They were dancing because they were celebrating that they're laughing at us, they've tricked us, they've managed to pull off all of this stuff, and we are none the wiser. Once again, we are the stupid ones, we're the dummies. They show us everything. They've had like programs for years talking to us about disease outbreaks, and they show us all these movies and films about the government faking diseases and actually the government infecting people with diseases, and the hospitals being the people, the actual people that are killing people rather than healing them. And obviously we know the pharmaceutical services, like all they do is basically just get you like strong on drugs and they become your dealer. So they're just like drug dealers, and the drugs that they give you are worse than whatever it is you're going through, because they have like a million and one side effects. Like since I've started taking their medications, let me tell you one thing. Yeah, when I was younger, like I was a vegan and I didn't go to hospital. I wasn't sick for like 3-4 years, and then I started to eat like meat again. But obviously I've cut out meat again. But I started to eat meat again, and I started to like eat fish because I was pescatarian, pure pescatarian. So, and then I started to eat junk and like go out and eat at restaurants and stuff like that. Before I was just eating at home. And at that time, I started to get really, really ill, and I got so sick. And that's why I believe, like, yeah, they are poisoning us through their food. Because when I was a vegan, when I was a vegetarian, and I only ate a certain like quality of food, and I only ate from a certain places, and I made sure that all my stuff was like fresh and organic and this, that, whatever. I was hardly sick, and I wasn't taking any medications. And even though I've got like really bad sickle cell, um, I was not taking any medications whatsoever. I never even took, not even the ones that like they tell you to take on a daily basis. I don't even believe in medications. So I wasn't taking that rubbish. I was just going home, keeping hydrated, working out. I was dancing, I was working, I was modeling, I was doing so much stuff. And then I started to eat at restaurants and I started to eat junk food. And then I got considerably sick. And it's like over the last couple of years, like eating out, spending money on junk food and eating a lot of like takeaways and stuff like that. It's just made me get iller and iller and iller. And obviously with the medications, going to hospital, their treatments, that makes you even more worse. So it's like, yeah, so if anything, they're the ones that are killing us. And they know this, and they laugh at us. It's like they do what they're doing, and then they laugh at us because we're none the wiser, and they just think, oh yeah, we're idiots, we're stupid. Oh, they're never going to catch on. Even if we put it in a song, even if Lady Gaga and Beyonce came out and made a whole music video about people eating chicken burgers and then afterwards dying because there was like poison in the food, in their telephone video, people still didn't clock on. People weren't thinking, oh no, they're going to poison the food. They're going to poison the takeaway. They didn't. No, we didn't clock on. We were just still eating out, still chomping away all this food. When the in America, when all that what's that place called that they love eating at? If you're in America, yeah, Chick-fil-A. When Chick-fil-A had their chicken burger, the amount of people that went and rushed to go and get that burger, that their life depended on it. People doing YouTube videos, Snapchat videos, Instagram videos about themselves just eating a goddamn burger. I don't know why, but yeah, people rushing out, spending their money, and then like there's a lot of people that were actually like, even in their videos, they were saying like after they ate it, they felt sick, and they didn't feel good, and they felt like vomiting, and they felt like it didn't digest, and there was something wrong with it. But it's like, yeah, like the government will do this to you. Like they will tell you in like some form of entertainment that, oh, we're going to poison the food, we're going to poison the water supply, and then there'll be the same other efforts that'll be like, oh yeah, tomorrow all water is free, or so and so water is free, or we're giving away this really good pH level water, and then when you drink that water, it's got poison in it. And then they're going to feel like, ha ha ha, like, oh, it serves you right because we did warn you, but you didn't take the warning serious. That's how it is with them. Like they literally feel like, yeah, if they tell us in a music video, if they tell us in a commercial, if they tell us in a song, in a book, in whatever, and if you can work it out and you get the message, then yes, good for you. But if you don't understand or decipher the message for yourself, and you go out there and you get sick and you die, then they're like, well, whatever, we don't care because we warned you, but you still went lamb to the slaughter. Because remember, they're looking for sacrifices. They need sacrifices in this time because they're trying to summon um, a body for the Antichrist, for the AC, so he can rule us. Because we've come to that stage. Um, People like shouldn't be scared. I know a lot of people who like study the scriptures and stuff like that, read all the apocrypha and like read the Hebrew Bible and stuff like that. Like some people might be feeling a bit uncertain about what's happening and feeling like, okay, like, so what's going to happen? What does this mean for me and my family? But in the scriptures, it does say to you, those who try to preserve their life will lose it, and those who lose their life will save it. And God is talking about your spiritual life. So when he says that those who try to preserve their life will lose it, so if whatever the government is giving you, so you can stay alive, if they're telling you that, oh, if you take this, or if you become a robot, if you take a chip, or if you take this medication, if you drink this, or whatever it is they're offering you, they're saying to you, this can give you life, don't take it. Don't take it. It's better for you to lose your life, because if you die normal and you die like human and whatever, you're going to go to heaven. You will go to heaven. You'll be fine. But if you accept whatever it is that they're giving you, like the chip or whatever it is they want to do to people, to turn people into cyborgs. Elon Musk is there promoting his Neuralinks that he's got, that he's been testing on pigs, and I'm not surprised it's been tested on pigs first, because in the scriptures it talks about how there was a possessed man and he had the spirit of legion, and it went into the pigs. And obviously pigs are an easy vessel for demons because they're swine, and they are very, very dirty, and they eat each other. They're even cannibals, like they will eat each other, they eat their own children and whatnot. They don't give a shit. They will eat shit. They will literally eat your arm off if it's rotten. Like they don't care. They will eat whatever. And they eat, like, if a pig was to eat a human, the pig will eat even the bones. Okay? You would not find not 1 ounce of that human left. Because pigs will eat it all. And that's why, like, on Jeffrey Epstein's island, he had like a pig farm. And that's because, like, once he did all the child sacrifices, and he doesn't want to like make graves for the children and the people that he's killed. So what does he do? He just throws their bodies to the pigs, and the pigs eat it completely. That's why you'll see a lot of people have pig farms, and they get away with murder because, yeah, they're feeding these bodies to the pigs. So yeah, so there's so much, like, there's a lot of stuff going on in this world, especially in this time that we're living in. As I said to you, that's the whole reason why the millennium was such a big deal to them. That's why they had to put the London Eye up and have you noticed also that the London Eye has gone global? Like the London Eye went to they have one in Manchester. They have it everywhere. They have it in Seattle, Washington. They have it all over the world. Like, it's everywhere. Those eye things are everywhere. It's not just in London. They have it everywhere, all around the world. And there's a purpose for that, because it's the Eye of Horus, and so basically, that's why it's everywhere. That's why it's all over the place. Like when I go to Manchester to visit my dad, there's a London Eye thingy there, or Manchester. I don't know what they call it in Manchester, but like, it's the same thing as a London Eye, but it's there. But I think they're not using it at the moment. I'm not sure if they've shut it down or whatnot, because they have some in Manchester as well, and Liverpool and Leicester and all the places, and then they have it like in other countries as well. And yeah, especially like during the millennium, that's why they put all these new monuments up. And obviously, the ritual that they did when they had like Great Ormond Street perform as well, and they had, like, if you looked at if you go back in time, go back and check on YouTube, look for a video of the the London Olympic, and the opening sequence show. You will see that it was just one big fat ritual. It was like these nurses and these apparent, like they said, they were children from Great Ormond Streets. They were lying in the beds, and the nurses were playing like demons and witches, and they were tormenting the children, and basically, like, they were just letting you know that they basically have demons in their hospitals tormenting these children, and they killed them and then they sacrificed them. And that's the truth. Yeah, a lot. That's why there's so much like death and murder and like just death everywhere. Like, it's just because there's so much like wickedness in this time. Like, the evil that's going on, we don't even know. Like, so many people right now are like, their mentality is just evil. They just want to be evil. Like, in their hearts, they're just evil. Like, all they care about is being rich, being like selfish and self-centered, and having attention on themselves all the time. Like, it's always about me, 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 me. Like, that's how it is. Like, it's said that in the end of times, that's how it will be. Like, your families would not love you anymore. And that's what's happening. Like, you see people nowadays are all stuck on their phones, and they're always like posting for people, like trying to get clout from people that they don't even know. Um, People that would not even visit you if you was about to die in hospital. Like, they won't come to your deathbed to see you, you know. But your own family, like your own like childhood friends or like people that you've grown up with and whatnot, like, yeah, you can fall out with them and you have some haters in your family. That's natural. Like, all families have that. You have your hating ass family members, you have your hating ass, like, sly ass friends that are really not really friends. They're like two-faced people that say they're your friends, them acquaintances, like, but yeah, but for the most part, most people don't even have relationships like that anymore. Most people just feel like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go online every day and I'm just gonna chat shit online and I'm just gonna post shit online every day and just taunt people, be a troll, or just do this or do, like, I don't know what the world has come to. Like, people spend more time on their phones and on their devices than they do actually speaking to people and having real human um like relationships and experiences and like bonding with like people. It's weird. Like, when I was young and I was growing up, I never like had a phone until I was like 12 or something, 12, 13. But like, my niece has had a phone since she's been like about nine and a half. Like, she's 10 now, but she had a phone since like last year. My sister got her phone, and I was like not happy with that. I was like, why are you giving her a phone? Like, you're gonna make her like be these crazy people that you see online, red hair. But yeah, she's not even allowed to use it all the time, so she's got restrictions on when she can use her phone and whatnot. But even still, like, people are just obsessed with their devices. People like sleep with their devices like on their bed and whatever. And I know, like, I do it myself as well. Like, I'll have my laptop open and I'll be watching like something on YouTube, and then I'll fall asleep and I'll wake up and like my laptop is still like playing something. So it's like I slept the whole night, like with whatever like that was playing on YouTube and whatever, I don't know, whatever adverts or whatever program they put after what I was watching or channel it went to. I don't know if it went on to some scary shit. I wouldn't know. But all of that is just like embedded in my mental. But it's like, it's just something that I just do without even thinking. But yeah, it's weird. Like, we're in an age where human interaction is just limited. It's being limited, and you're finding that a lot of celebrities are like, obviously they're coming out as like bisexuals, trisexuals, pansexuals, and whatnot. They're saying that they have all kinds of relationships. You've heard like now there's like thruples and couples. Instead of like you have like a couple, like two people, you have like thruples now. You have like three people and like they're in a relationship. So you can have two men and one woman, or you can have two women and one man. Like, but yeah, people are doing all kinds of things now. Like, it's just, we're living in a different age. Basically, we are living in a different age, and we are at the dawn of the Antichrist. And those of you who are truthers and you've seen iPet Go thing, you will know that the iPet Go 2 animation shows us at the end that the Antichrist, he comes through, and as he's born, all of the things that start to fall, like things start to collapse, like the other mountains and the things like in the background start to collapse when the Antichrist comes out and he goes towards like the sun that's set. And obviously the sun that sets, like, the sun that's rising, sorry, the that's rising would